Introduction. A nation watching the sky. In many parts of Japan and other rice-growing countries, the rhythmic patterns of the seasons have always dictated the fate of agriculture. Rainfall, in particular, plays a vital role in ensuring a stable rice harvest. But in 2025, the skies have remained stubbornly dry. What was once fertile farmland is now a canvas of cracked earth and yellowing rice plants. As dam water levels plummet to 0%, communities are facing a grave agricultural crisis. The once reliable monsoon has failed, and the result is a potentially devastating blow to rice production, food security, and rural livelihoods. The anatomy of the drought. This year's drought has been unusual not just in severity but also in timing. Rainfall data from the Meteorological Agency shows that precipitation during the crucial planting and early growing seasons May to July was down by over 60% compared to average levels. In several prefectures known for their rice paddies, such as Niigata, Akita, and Yamagata, the soil has become too dry to properly irrigate the fields. Satellite imagery shows a stark contrast: brown where there should be green, empty where water should be abundant. The most alarming indicator of the crisis is the dramatic drop in dam water levels. Across several major agricultural regions, water reservoirs have now reached 0% capacity. In the Tone River Basin and parts of Kyushu, water is being rationed. Farmers have already begun abandoning fields, predicting total crop failure. 2. The collapse of the irrigation system. Japan's rice paddies depend heavily on an extensive irrigation network, with dams acting as the primary water source. These systems were designed under the assumption of relatively stable rainfall patterns. With dam levels now at 0%, the cascading effect is apparent. Irrigation canals are bone dry. Water pumps in rural areas are idle due to lack of supply. Water sharing among farmers, once a community-led solution, has turned into heated disputes over the few remaining resources. Municipal governments are responding with emergency declarations and water restrictions, but many experts believe it's already too late to save this year's harvest. 3. The economic toll on farmers. The impact of the drought is immediate and unforgiving for rice farmers. Without water, the quality of rice deteriorates rapidly. In some areas, farmers report up to 90% of their crops wilting before reaching the flowering stage. For many small-scale producers who live season to season, this means financial ruin. Local agricultural cooperatives estimate that this year's rice production could be the lowest in over 3 decades. If current trends continue, Japan may be forced to increase rice imports, breaking a long tradition of domestic self-sufficiency. Insurance payouts may help some farmers, but for many, the paperwork and delays render the aid insufficient. Elderly farmers, especially in remote villages, are facing the tough decision of whether to continue or quit farming altogether. Ripple effects on food prices and consumers. A poor rice harvest doesn't just affect farmers, it hits every part of the food chain. Rice prices have already begun to rise in urban supermarkets, with premium brands becoming scarcer. Restaurants, school lunch programs, and even convenience stores are looking for alternatives or reducing portion sizes. According to the Ministry of Agriculture, a 20% shortfall in domestic rice production could lead to price increases of up to 35% by the end of the year. This comes at a time when households are already facing inflationary pressures from fuel and imported food. The public is beginning to feel the pressure, with many concerned about long-term food security. Voices from the fields. Stories of struggle. In Oita Prefecture, farmer Hiroshi Tanaka, 62, walks through his fields, the dry stalks of rice crunching beneath his feet. In all my years of farming, I've never seen it this bad. We depend on the rains, and they've betrayed us, he says. A few kilometers away, a younger farmer, Ayaka Suzuki, 29, tries to stay optimistic. She's experimenting with drought-resistant rice varieties, but admits they haven't matured fast enough to cope with this year's conditions. We're trying to adapt, but the environment is changing faster than our tools, she remarks. Government response. Too little, too late. The national government has mobilized drought emergency funds and water tankers, especially in the hardest-hit rural areas. There are also talks of subsidizing imported rice and accelerating research into climate-resilient crops. However, critics argue that these are reactive measures rather than a proactive agricultural strategy. Environmental groups point out that this is not the first warning. Climate scientists have been urging the government to invest in adaptive water infrastructure and sustainable farming techniques for years. We're not just dealing with a one-time drought. This is a sign of things to come, warns Professor Sato of the University of Tokyo's Climate and Agriculture Research Center. 7. Climate change. A bigger culprit. While short-term weather fluctuations contribute to droughts, scientists emphasize that climate change is amplifying their frequency and intensity. Warmer air holds more moisture, leading to more extreme weather patterns, both floods and droughts. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change (IPCC) has noted that regions like East Asia are particularly vulnerable to hydrological instability. Rice, being a water-intensive crop, is especially sensitive to such changes. Without significant shifts in farming practices and infrastructure, droughts like this one may become the new norm rather than the exception. 8. Exploring solutions. The future of farming in a drying world. To counteract the water crisis, a number of innovative approaches are being explored. Drought-resistant rice varieties are being bred to require less water. Precision irrigation systems such as drip lines and soil moisture sensors are gaining popularity. Rainwater harvesting on farms is being incentivized through government subsidies. Crop diversification, where farmers rotate with less water-intensive crops, is slowly being adopted. Some prefectures are also investing in smart dam management, using AI-based forecasting to release water more efficiently. However, these solutions require investment, education, and time, luxuries many farmers don't currently have. Community resilience and mutual support. Amid the crisis, communities have begun forming support networks. In Nagano, farmers are pooling resources to share groundwater access. In Aichi, local high school students are volunteering to help elderly farmers assess and document crop damage for insurance claims. Local governments are encouraging farmer cooperatives to explore collective solutions such as joint water storage tanks, rotating irrigation schedules, and shared machinery for drought-resistant cultivation techniques. Conclusion. A wake-up call for all. The current drought and resulting crisis in rice production is more than an agricultural problem, it's a national issue that touches every citizen, every plate of food, and every drop of water. While the damage this year may be irreversible, it can serve as a pivotal moment to rethink how we treat water, how we farm, and how we adapt to a changing climate. If the rains don't return soon, the landscape of rice farming may be permanently altered. But with the right combination of innovation, support, and determination, Japan and other rice-producing countries can find ways to navigate the challenges ahead. The time to act is now, not only to save this season's harvest but to ensure the survival of the next generation of farmers.